One little kitten was alone and helpless, left by the roadside to fend for herself in the dirt, and we'll never know how many people, if any, ignored her cries for food and attention. But one person couldn't just walk on by. In fact, he did everything he could to save her life. In December 2016, YouTube user Kalpana Peter uploaded a video of his attempt to save a helpless kitten he found close to death. The social media user, whose real name is Peter, lives in India. In addition, he works for Chinchinku Kids Nursery Rhymes, so perhaps he has an affinity with the younger and more vulnerable in society. At least when Peter heard an unusual sound while he was going about his business, the big-hearted man couldn't help but investigate. The noise sounded like an animal in distress, and as it turned out, what he heard was loud yowling from a very small kitten. But it was miraculous that the kitten could make any noise at all. The poor thing was in terrible health and needed help desperately. What's more, it was alone on a roadside and covered in the filth of a nearby drain. How it had got there, though, was a mystery. Even more disturbingly, the kitten was terribly thin when Peter found her. She was very hungry, afraid, and sleepless. The YouTube video captions explained. In fact, the cat was so weak she didn't have the energy to move when he approached her. She couldn't even stand. So Peter gently picked up the kitten. Once he had given the malnourished and dehydrated feline something to drink, though, she perked up a little bit. Then, adorably, the little cat started to purr. Throughout all of this, Peter held the scrawny kitten close, and perhaps this marked the first time since being separated from her mommy that she felt safe. Certainly her actions suggested so. As she lay exhausted in the crook of Peter's arm, the little stray fell fast asleep. Indeed, the little cat seemed taken with Peter, who named her Hetty. But there was only so much that he could do for her by himself, and she needed medical attention if she was going to survive her ordeal. The next stop for the pair, then, was a veterinary hospital. Fortunately, the animal clinic treated Hetty well and was soon able to release her back into the care of her rescuer. Still, just as Hetty had grown attached to Peter, he too had formed a bond with the little kitten, and as a result, he decided to adopt her. Heartwarmingly, then Hetty now had a home and a loving human to help her recover from her past traumas. When she was safe under Peter's roof, though, the first step was to get her clean and strong. And the healing process began with a bottle full of nourishing milk. Unfortunately, Hetty seemed to have gotten a little too close to the drain near where she was found. As a result, her fur was coated in dirt and needed a good wash. That's just what her adopted daddy gave her then, and perhaps it was the first lovely bath of her life. Furthermore, the warm water didn't just prove to be rejuvenating. Once the dirt was washed away, in fact, the emaciated little kitten revealed the potential to be a beautiful cat. Indeed, Hetty's fur was soft and fluffy underneath the grime. And over time, Hetty grew stronger and got to experience a side of life she might never have known. After all, if she had remained abandoned on the streets, she likely would not have had a chance at joy. Without having to focus on survival, then she could relax and play. What's more, Hetty soon moved on from bottle feeding, and under the love and care of her new human, she blossomed from a scrawny street cat into a beautiful, healthy fur baby. In fact, she was unrecognizable from the kitten Peter had rescued from the road. But Hetty seemed to be forever grateful for the love and affection she received. She would snuggle up with Peter and take a nap every day, just like the first time she fell asleep in his arms. Meanwhile, and understandably, the incredible transformation Hetty went through got a lot of attention on the web. The YouTube video Peter uploaded, for example, received over 56,500 views and 448 upvotes. In addition, several animal news websites covered the abandoned kitten's story, and internet commenters in particular had nothing but good things to say about the rescue. You are a hero. The world is a better place because of the compassion you have. Hugs to your precious kitty, one YouTube user said. Another wrote, "Bless you. You have such a kind and warm soul. Thank you so much for rescuing this sweet little kitty." Indeed, Hetty was a lucky kitty to have found a loving home. Tragically, though, not every kitten is so fortunate. India, for one, has a large population of stray animals, and many of them are suffering on the streets just as baby Hetty did. The population of cats and dogs on the streets in India is so significant. It is not possible to find loving homes for even a fraction of them. Charity Stray Angels India wrote on its crowdfunding page, "Every day, countless numbers of puppies and kittens are born in drains and underneath cars." Meanwhile, Peter wrote on his YouTube channel, "I hope my videos will inspire you and please share with others too." And it would certainly be a beautiful thing if more people in the world treated animals like Peter treated Hetty. Let's hope then that many others will follow his example.
This story was really incredible, but you will like the next one more.
When this cat was picked up by rescuers, his purple paws told of a tragic tale. As the president of a busy rescue shelter in Florida, Megan Sorbara was hardened to seeing extreme signs of all kinds of abuse on the unfortunate animals admitted into her facility. Which is why the 49-year-old was so confused when animal control officers presented her with a perfectly healthy cat in mid-2017. However, on closer inspection, the animal lover saw that the feline's paws had been colored purple. It came as a physical shock. Sorbara's heart broke and she was sickened to her stomach. Sorbara founded the nonprofit charity Naples Cat Alliance in her hometown in 2013. Since then, the organization based on the Gulf of Mexico has operated a no-kill animal shelter which rescues injured or neglected cats and rehomes strays. In addition, it operates a trap-neuter return program to control stray cat numbers. To this end, Naples Cat Alliance volunteers capture feral felines, run full health checks on them, and dispense any necessary vaccinations. A professional veterinarian then sterilizes the captured cats before re-release so that they are unable to contribute further to the homeless feline population of Southwest Florida. However, these animals are not just forgotten about and left to fend for themselves afterwards. Indeed, as the organization explains on its Facebook community page, kittens and tame cats are adopted. Healthy adult cats too wild to be adopted are returned to their familiar habitat under the lifelong care of volunteers. As a result of her dedication and devotion to Florida's street cats, Sorbara's name has been spread far and wide. Perhaps this was the reason she was approached on May 14, 2017, by animal welfare officers based 100 miles away. Sorbara later shared the story via social media with a particularly heart-rending Facebook post concerning the homeless cat in question. And the appalling tale had obviously hit the veteran animal rescuer very hard. It all began when Clewiston Animal Control picked up a stray male cat on the streets. Despite being based a 2-hour drive away on the shores of Lake Okeechobee, the Clewiston operatives brought the homeless feline to the Naples Cat Alliance and into Sorbara's care. But the strangest thing was that the moggy looked well and healthy. Nevertheless, when Sorbara took a closer look at the new arrival, it revealed something even stranger. His paws were purple. Someone had spread the color over all 4 of his feet and daubed a stripe down his head. However, not only did Sorbara know what the markings meant, but they also made the color drain from her face. Sorbara went on to explain what the colors signified in her Facebook update. Being an animal rescue, you hear and read about a lot of terrible things being done to poor innocent animals, she wrote. And then one day, the victim of one of these terrible things shows up at your door. And in May 2017, it appeared that day had arrived. I consider myself pretty hardened to a lot of stuff, Sorbara continued. I have dealt with a lot of injured, emaciated, neglected, and abused animals, but this one really got to me. By all accounts, he looks good weight, nice coat, but the purple paws tell the story. The purple markings were a telltale sign that the captured cat had experienced a lucky escape from a dogfighting ring. Illegal in every U.S. state, this barbaric blood sport forces 2 or more dogs to fight one another. Usually, this cruel crime is carried out for the entertainment of unscrupulous spectators who gamble on the outcome. Sadly, dogfights only end when one of the canine competitors either flees, becomes physically incapable of carrying on, or dies. Alternatively, the dog's owner may submit the fight. However, if a fighting dog loses, its heartless human may decide to kill the animal, often through totally inhumane methods. Furthermore, it is not just the fights themselves that are utterly savage, the training is also unbelievably callous. To be more specific, the horrific practice involves the use of bait animals. Dog fight trainers throw smaller canines, rabbits, cats, or even kittens to the combative canines to test their bloodlust. Needless to say, it is not uncommon for bait animals to get grievously wounded or even killed during a dog's training. What's more, these hapless bait victims are sometimes former shelter animals or stolen pets. In fact, some unwitting owners even give up their unwanted animals to dog fighters voluntarily, thinking that their pets are going to a good home. Sorbara reported on Facebook that colored areas on a feline signify them as bait animals. Nauseatingly, they are identifying marks which enable a secondary betting market. Dog fighters use markers to color the white parts of cats and kittens, the president explained, so they can bet on which color will die first. Beneath a picture of the painted puss in question, Sorbara continued, they are color-coded and then thrown to packs of dogs while these sick barbarians place their bets. The sickened woman concluded, this is cruelty at its worst. Sorbara firmly believed that was why the cat she had named Mr. Purple Paws was sporting colored feet. Moreover, the animal advocate thought there was a distinct possibility that he had been a pet before being snatched by a dog-fighting crew. And she said as much in an interview with animal interest website The Dodo on May 17. He could have been a cat who was owned, but they were just letting him free roam, Sorbara said. I can't imagine he was handled too nicely by these people when they were marking him, but I don't really know what he was subjected to prior. Nor does anyone know how Mr. Purple Paws managed to escape his terrible fate. However, his eventual savior had a couple of ideas. Somebody must have left a door open, Sorbara suggested, or maybe he got away during transport while they're going wherever they go to have these fights in the middle of the night. Regardless of how he made his great escape, Mr. Purple Paws must have used one of his 9 lives to get away unscathed. And unbelievably, his ordeal did not seem to affect his attitude towards human beings. In fact, the Mavi's happy nature won over everyone at the Naples Cat Alliance shelter. Sorbara told the Dodo, he's just so sweet, rolling over on his back and giving headbutts. Just adorable. Thankfully, it seemed that Mr. Purple Paws was now in his element. He doesn't have a care in the world, Sorbara continued. He's Mr. Happy. He was playing with toys in his cage last night. You can just pick him up, carry him around on your shoulder. He likes to be held. With such an affectionate nature, it was only a matter of time before someone adopted Mr. Purple Paws. In fact, on May 30, 2017, just 1 week after his admission to the shelter, the Naples Cat Alliance posted a list of recent adoptions on its Facebook page. And sure enough, one of them was Mr. Purple Paws pictured with his lucky new Huon.